The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor, and my wife Natalie didn't even flinch. She just stared at me with those cold blue eyes and said, "Clean it up, Adam. You're embarrassing yourself." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. That's when I knew my marriage was over. Not because of the broken glass, but because of what she'd just whispered to her brother Victor 5 minutes earlier. Don't worry about Adam. He's too weak to do anything about it. I'm Adam West, and I used to think I was a pretty decent guy. Successful architect, nice house in Portland's Hills, wife who turned heads at every party. Turns out I was just the fool paying for everyone else's good time. The whole mess started 3 months ago at Natalie's birthday party. I'd spent weeks planning it, hiring caterers, decorating our open-plan house with those ridiculous gold balloons she insisted on. 200 guests, all her friends from the country club and social circuit. "Adam, honey," Natalie purred as I adjusted my tie. "Try not to bore anyone tonight with your building stories, okay? These people have reputations to maintain." I should have seen it then, the way she looked at me like I was hired help. But I was still playing the devoted husband, still believing in the woman I'd married 6 years ago. The party was in full swing when Victor Mallory arrived. Natalie's older brother, CEO of Mallory Real Estate, the kind of guy who wore $1,000 suits and treated waiters like furniture. He'd always looked down on me, but lately his contempt had gotten worse. "Adam!" Victor slapped my back too hard. "Still drawing pretty pictures for a living?" "Still helping people build their dreams," I replied, forcing a smile. "Dreams don't pay the bills, brother-in-law. Good thing Natalie married up, right?" I watched him swagger toward the bar, already planning to avoid him for the rest of the evening. That's when I overheard the conversation that changed everything. Natalie was in the kitchen with her best friend Sienna, a blonde gossip queen who collected secrets like designer handbags. I'd gone to grab more ice when I heard my name. "Adam's so naive," Natalie was saying. "He actually thinks I married him for love." Sienna giggled. "What are you going to do about the business?" "Victor's handling it. Adam's firm has those waterfront contracts locked up, but Victor knows people on the zoning board. A few strategic donations, some pressure in the right places, and those contracts will get transferred to Mallory Real Estate." My blood turned to ice water. Those contracts represented 2 years of work, my firm's biggest break. "What about Adam?" Sienna asked. "What about him? He'll never figure it out. And if he does, who's going to believe him? Victor has connections everywhere." I stood frozen, ice bucket in my hands, listening to my wife plot my professional destruction with the casual tone of someone discussing dinner plans. The next morning, I started digging. My old college friend Omar worked in city planning. We'd kept in touch over the years, grabbed beers occasionally. When I called him about the waterfront project, his voice got tight. "Adam, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but there's been some unusual activity around your contracts. Phone calls from Mallory Real Estate, questions about zoning variances." "What kind of questions?" "The kind that come with expensive dinners and campaign contributions." I spent the next week quietly gathering evidence. Bank records showed mysterious transfers from our joint account, money I'd never authorized. Natalie's credit card statements revealed lunches with zoning board members, expensive gifts charged to my business account. The smoking gun came from an unexpected source. Sophie Chen, my ex-girlfriend from college, now worked as a private investigator. We'd stayed friendly over the years, and when I called her for advice, she offered to help. "I ran some background checks," she told me over coffee. "Victor's been spreading rumors about your firm's financial stability. He's also been telling people you're difficult to work with." "That's ridiculous." "I know, but he's got 3 city council members on his payroll, and they've been asking questions about your permits." My hands shook as I stirred my coffee. "How long has this been going on?" "At least 6 months. Adam, there's something else. I have a contact at Mallory Real Estate. Victor's been bragging about taking over your waterfront project. He calls it the family business." That night, I confronted Natalie. She was in our bedroom, applying her nightly skincare routine like nothing had changed. "We need to talk about Victor," I said. She didn't even turn around. "What about him?" "He's trying to steal my contracts." Now she faced me, and for a split second, I saw panic flicker across her features. Then her expression hardened. "That's paranoid, Adam. Victor's a successful businessman. He doesn't need to steal anything from you." "I have proof." "Proof of what? That my brother is better at business than you are?" The contempt in her voice was like a physical blow. This wasn't the woman I'd married. Or maybe it was, and I'd just been too blind to see it. "I know about the money, Natalie. The transfers, the dinners, all of it." She laughed, actually laughed. What are you going to do about it? Sue your own wife? Victor has lawyers who eat people like you for breakfast. That's when I realized she wasn't just complicit in Victor's scheme. She was the architect of it. The next few weeks were a careful dance. I played the oblivious husband while secretly documenting everything. Omar helped me set up surveillance on my own office, legal security cameras that recorded who came and went. Sophie provided intel on Victor's meetings and connections. My old friends started avoiding me. Tom Bradley, who'd been my best man, stopped returning calls. Jennifer Walsh, who'd been in our wedding party, crossed the street when she saw me downtown. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but then Omar filled me in. Victor's been telling everyone you're having financial problems, he explained. Says you've been borrowing money and not paying it back. That's insane. He's also spreading stories about your temper. Says you threatened him at the birthday party. I felt the walls closing in. Victor wasn't just stealing my business. He was destroying my reputation, isolating me from everyone who might help. The confrontation I'd been dreading came at Tom's barbecue. Natalie had insisted we go, said it would look suspicious if we didn't show up. I should have stayed home. Tom pulled me aside within minutes of our arrival. Adam, we need to talk. Jennifer joined us, her face tight with disapproval. This is really uncomfortable, but we can't ignore what's happening. What's happening? I asked, though I already knew. The money you borrowed from Tom, Jennifer said. When are you planning to pay it back? I stared at them. I never borrowed money from Tom. Don't lie, Tom snapped. $5,000, 3 months ago. You said it was for a business emergency. My stomach dropped. Tom, I swear on my mother's grave, I never asked you for money. Then how did I get this? He pulled out his phone, showing me a text conversation. The messages were from my number, asking for a loan, promising to pay it back quickly. Someone had been impersonating me. Victor's reach was even wider than I'd imagined. I can prove this isn't me, I said desperately. Check the phone records, the timestamps. Enough, Jennifer cut me off. We know about the other people, too. Sarah Martinez, Mike Thompson. You borrowed from all of them. I didn't borrow anything from anyone. Then explain this. Tom showed me another screenshot. My signature on what looked like a promissory note. The signature was perfect. Victor had somehow gotten samples of my handwriting, probably from documents Natalie had access to. You're both making a mistake, I said, but I could see they'd already made up their minds. We want you to leave, Jennifer said. Both of you. And don't come back until you've made this right. Natalie appeared at my elbow, playing the concerned wife perfectly. What's wrong? Adam, you look upset. They think I borrowed money from them. She gasped, hand flying to her chest. Oh no, Adam, you promised you'd get help for this. I spun to face her. Get help for what? The gambling, honey. We talked about this. The ground shifted beneath my feet. She was improvising, adding details to Victor's character assassination in real time. I don't gamble, I said through gritted teeth. The poker games, the online betting. Adam, denial isn't going to fix this. Tom and Jennifer exchanged glances. They were buying every word. We're leaving, I announced, grabbing Natalie's arm. In the car, she dropped the act immediately. You handled that poorly. You set me up. I protected you. If you'd kept your mouth shut, they might have given you more time to pay them back. I don't owe them anything. Prove it. She smiled coldly. Oh, wait, you can't. Because Victor's very thorough. That night, I made my decision. If Victor wanted to play dirty, I'd show him what dirty really looked like. The first step was turning Victor's own tactics against him. Sophie had given me the names of 3 city council members on Victor's payroll. Instead of exposing the bribes, I fed them false information about Victor's financial stability. Well, my Mallory real estate is leveraged to the hilt, I told Councilman Roberts over lunch. Victor's been using city contracts as collateral for private loans. When those projects fall through, the city's going to be left holding the bag. Roberts was a politician. He understood the implications immediately. Within a week, the city launched a quiet investigation into Victor's business practices. Step 2 was more personal. I hired Sophie to dig deeper into Victor's private life, and what she found was golden. He's got a gambling problem, she reported. Not poker games or casinos, high-stakes private games with some very dangerous people. He owes money to the kind of guys who break legs for late payments. How much? $200,000, maybe more, and get this. He's been using company funds to cover his debts. Perfect. I anonymously tipped off the FBI's white-collar crime unit about potential embezzlement at Mallory Real Estate. Let Victor explain those mysterious cash withdrawals to federal investigators. But I wasn't done. The friends who'd turned on me deserved consequences too. I started with Tom. A little research revealed he'd been cheating on his taxes, claiming fake business expenses for his consulting firm. An anonymous tip to the IRS took care of that. Jennifer had been having an affair with her business partner while her husband worked overseas. A few carefully placed photos ended that marriage and destroyed her public relations company. It was amazing how quickly people's lives could unravel when someone pulled the right threads. The final confrontation came at the Ember Room, an upscale bar where Victor held court every Friday night. I walked in like I owned the place, which in a way I did. I'd designed the renovation 2 years earlier. Victor was at his usual table, surrounded by sycophants and city officials. His face darkened when he saw me approaching. "Well, look who decided to show up," he announced loudly. "My deadbeat brother-in-law." "Hello, Victor. Enjoying your last night of freedom?" His smile faltered slightly. "What's that supposed to mean?" I pulled out a chair and sat down uninvited. "The FBI raid on your offices yesterday. Surely you heard about it." The color drained from his face. "What raid?" "Embezzlement investigation. Something about missing company funds and gambling debts. The kind of thing that makes federal prosecutors very excited." Victor's drinking buddies suddenly found reasons to be elsewhere. Within minutes, we were alone at the table. "You son of a bitch," he hissed. "You did this." "I just pointed them in the right direction. You did the rest yourself." "I'll destroy you for this," I laughed. "With what? Your company's frozen assets? Your suspended city contracts? Face it, Victor. You're finished." He lunged across the table, but I was ready for him. Years of construction work had kept me in decent shape, and Victor was soft from too many business lunches. I caught his wrist and twisted, forcing him back into his chair. "Here's what's going to happen," I said quietly. "You're going to transfer my waterfront contracts back to my firm. You're going to publicly apologize for the lies you've spread about me, and you're going to stay out of my life forever. Go to hell." I pulled out my phone and showed him a video Sophie had taken, Victor meeting with known criminals, handing over cash, clearly terrified. "The FBI might be interested in your associates. Some of these faces are on wanted posters." His resistance crumbled. "What do you want?" "I already told you. Contracts, apology, disappear. You have 24 hours. I stood to leave, then turned back. "Oh, and Victor? Tell Natalie I'll see her at home. We have some things to discuss." Natalie was waiting when I got back, pacing our living room like a caged animal. She'd obviously heard from Victor. "You bastard," she snarled. "Do you have any idea what you've done? I've taken my life back. Victor could go to prison." "Victor's going to prison. The only question is for how long." She slapped me, hard enough to leave a mark. I didn't flinch. "I want a divorce," she announced. "Good. I already filed the papers. You'll be served tomorrow." Her eyes widened. "You can't divorce me. I'll take half of everything." "Actually, you won't. Adultery voids our prenup's spousal support clause. And since you've been stealing from our joint accounts to fund Victor's schemes, I'd say you're lucky I'm not pressing charges." "I never cheated on you." I pulled out another phone, this one containing recordings Sophie had made. Natalie's voice filled the room, describing her affair with Victor's business partner in explicit detail. "You recorded me?" "I documented everything. Every lie, every theft, every betrayal. It's all going to come out in divorce court unless you sign the settlement agreement I've prepared." She grabbed for the phone, but I was faster. "What settlement?" "You get nothing. No alimony, no property division, no claim on my business. In exchange, I don't press criminal charges for embezzlement." "I'll fight this." "With what lawyer? Victor's assets are frozen, remember? And once word gets out about your involvement in his schemes, no respectable attorney will touch you." The fight went out of her then. She sank into our expensive sofa, the one I'd paid for, and started crying. But they weren't tears of remorse. They were tears of rage and frustration. "I loved you once," she whispered. "No, you didn't. You loved what I could give you, the house, the lifestyle, the social status. You never loved me." She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. "What happens now?" "Now you pack your things and leave, tonight." "Where am I supposed to go?" "That's not my problem anymore." As she gathered her belongings, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. The house was mine again. My business was safe. My reputation would recover once Victor's crimes became public. Tom called the next morning, stammering apologies. Apparently the IRS audit had revealed some uncomfortable truths about his own financial dealings, and he'd figured out he'd been manipulated. "I'm sorry, Adam. Victor showed me those fake texts, said you were in denial about borrowing the money. I should have known better." "Yes, you should have. Can we fix this? Our friendship?" "No, Tom, we can't. You threw away 20 years of friendship based on lies from a man you barely knew. That tells me everything I need to know about your character." Jennifer tried the same approach, but I gave her the same answer. Some betrayals couldn't be forgiven, even when the betrayers realized their mistake. Victor's trial made the local news. Embezzlement, bribery, racketeering. The charges kept piling up. His lawyer tried to claim Victor was the victim of a vindictive brother-in-law, but the evidence was overwhelming. During his sentencing hearing, Victor stared at me from across the courtroom with pure hatred. I stared back with satisfaction. He got 12 years in federal prison. Natalie left town after the divorce was finalized. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd moved to Seattle, working as a receptionist at a dental office. The socialite lifestyle was over. My business thrived. Without Victor's interference, the waterfront project became the crown jewel of my portfolio. Other contracts followed, and within 2 years, I'd expanded to a second office. I never remarried. Trust, once broken completely, is hard to rebuild. But I was content. I had my work, my integrity, and the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes the good guys really do win. 6 months ago, I got a letter from Victor in prison. He wanted to apologize, claimed he'd found religion, asked for my forgiveness. I threw it in the trash without reading past the first paragraph. Some people deserve second chances. Victor Mallory wasn't one of them. Last week, I ran into Sienna at a coffee shop downtown. She looked embarrassed, started to turn away, but I called her name. "Adam," she said nervously. "How are you?" "I'm well. How's the gossip business?" She flinched. "I'm sorry about, everything." "You're sorry you got caught, not sorry you did it." "That's not true. I genuinely regret." "Sienna, you helped destroy my marriage and nearly ruined my business because you thought it would be entertaining. Don't insult my intelligence by pretending you've grown a conscience." I walked away, leaving her standing there with her overpriced latte and her guilt. Today marks exactly 3 years since Natalie's birthday party, the night that started it all. I'm sitting in my home office, the one with the locks she used to complain about, reviewing plans for my latest project. It's a luxury hotel on the waterfront, the biggest contract my firm has ever landed. The house is quiet, peaceful, no more parties, no more social climbing, no more pretending to be someone I'm not. Just me, my work, and the knowledge that I survived the worst betrayal of my life and came out stronger. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. I prefer to think of it as justice, carefully planned and perfectly executed. Victor thought he was the smart one, the connected one, the one with all the power. He learned too late that underestimating people is a dangerous mistake. Natalie thought I was weak, too nice to fight back. She discovered that nice and weak aren't the same thing. My former friends thought loyalty was conditional, something they could withdraw when it became inconvenient. They found out that actions have consequences, even for the people you used to trust. I designed buildings for a living, but my greatest architectural achievement was the blueprint for their destruction. Every detail planned, every weakness exploited, every support beam carefully removed until the whole rotten structure came crashing down. They all underestimated the quiet guy who drew pretty pictures for a living. That was their first mistake. It was also their last.